Welcome to Brain Ablaze, a podcast about epilepsy, by epileptics, for epileptics, and their caretakers. I'm your host, David Clifford. If you're new to Brain Ablaze Podcast, I just want to remind you that I'm not a medical expert. I'm just some guy that has dealt with the ins and outs of uncontrollable seizures for more than a quarter century. My hope is that this podcast can provide insights that listeners just cannot get through existing support structures. In this episode, we'll cover what I've been dreading releasing to the public. My story. Mind you, most people I know that I'm an epileptic. I'm really quite comfortable with it. But there's a difference between talking to people with whom you know versus just broadcasting it to everybody who's out there. But mostly, I want this podcast to be bigger than just me. It is about all of us. Each of us has their own story, and I don't want to suggest that mine should overshadow yours. On the other hand, you need to have confidence that there is a credible source behind the microphone, and I'm not just someone spouting stuff you read off of Wikipedia. So, with that, are you ready?
This is crazy, this is crazy, this is crazy.
I've lived with epilepsy since I was diagnosed at 16 years old. I'm now in my 40s. Strike that. I really didn't live with epilepsy, but endured it and ignored it. Every couple of years, something scary would force me to think, you really should look into this. So I'd find yet another neurologist, go through the necessary tests, and take some medication. The list of medications grew. Dilantin, Depakote, phenobarbital, Tegretol,
Trileptal,
Topamax,
Lamictal,
Onfi,
Zonisamide,
Vimpat,
Diazepam,
Keppra. And the side effects piled up. Nausea, stomach pain, loss of appetite, poor coordination, increased hair growth,
headaches,
enlargement of the gums,
sleepiness,
vomit, dizziness, confusion,
excitement,
migraines,
constipation,
suicidal thoughts, difficulty in concentration,
mental sluggishness,
visual field defects,
stuttering.
Scans and tests repeatedly showed nothing physically wrong with me. I lost hope. I did something that I now never suggest to anyone. I stopped taking my medication. I tried fad diets and internet cures. While visiting Europe, I even underwent tests with neurologists there. Nothing worked, and I went back to just enduring my symptoms. Looking back now, I experienced a combination of focal and generalized tonic-clonic seizures, mixed with a heaping spoonful of migraines. At the time, my doctors and I focused mainly on my tonic-clonic seizures. For about 25 years, I experienced a TC on average about once a month. For long sections of my life, the seizures were far more frequent, multiple times a week, or even once a day. It was easier for me than most epileptics to hide my illness, because I wasn't what you call a drop epileptic, or a person that has no clue that a tonic-clonic seizure is coming and just drops to the floor. I had a good aura. I know a few minutes before I have a seizure. It is usually enough time to find a safe and secluded place. I would have probably kept the pattern of ignoring the real problem if epilepsy hadn't kicked me in the pants in 2015. I had a status epilepticus event in 2015 that scared my wife and me so terribly that I truly committed to battling my epilepsy. When a seizure lasts more than 5 minutes, like in status epilepticus, there's a good chance that you're not going to actually come out of the seizure unless you get medical help. And this is what happened with me. I finally reached out for help to the Epilepsy Center at Stanford University in Palo Alto, California. A random MRI in early 2017 revealed that there was a lesion in my brain. I have to admit that I had an opposite reaction that most people might have when they are told that they have a massive centralized brain damage. I was elated.
Hey, everybody, we're all going to get laid.
I celebrated like Tom Brady after winning the Super Bowl. You know, the ones where he didn't actually cheat. After years of dealing with the random symptoms of my disorder, I had finally had hard facts concerning a real physical cause of the problem. My first question to my neurologist was, what does the actual region around that lesion do? Her answer was, usually it's around memory, Everyone's a little bit different. My wife tells me that about 5 minutes later I asked my neurologist again, so what does that region about the lesion do?
Right.
I entered the epilepsy monitoring unit at Sanford shortly after the lesion was found. I was attached to a series of sensors and videotaped around the clock with the hope to record what was going on with my brain before, during, and after a seizure. During my 5-day stay, the EMU technicians recorded 3 different seizures. One was pretty serious generalized tonic-clonic seizure. All test results pointed that the best route to improve my quality of life was surgery. I have to admit I was quite scared about surgery. I had made it quite a lucrative career in tech, using the contents of my brain. Surgery originally sounded like someone was going to open my head up like a Halloween pumpkin and scoop the internals to slop them into a bucket. I felt more at ease after meeting my neurosurgeon. He explained every facet of the surgery to me. If anyone was going to turn my head into a jack-o'-lantern, I knew he was going to be my best bet. In August of 2017, I was averaging a generalized tonic-clonic seizure every 3 days. At the end of the same month, I underwent brain surgery, a right anterior lobectomy to be specific. I have been seizure-free since. So trust me when I say, I know what you are going through. I ran the gauntlet of epilepsy. Like most of you, being an epileptic has become a part of my identity. Though I'm not having seizures at the moment, I still and will continue to advocate for my friends that can't.
Great story. Compelling and rich.
Now that you've heard my story, I would love to hear yours. Leave a comment on our Facebook or Twitter pages. If you like today's show, please help us out by giving a 5-star rating on iTunes or wherever you download your content. One small click really does help.